All right, so just going to run through how I use LinkedIn to start conversations to try and meet as many people as possible and to network through LinkedIn. Just before I get started, a lot of you have probably already tried to network through LinkedIn and given up because you've had a low success rate. The idea here today is that we improve that success rate, but also just as a bit of an expectation, you shouldn't be expecting 100% of the people that you send messages to respond. People are busy, they might not see your message, whatever the reason is, you should not expect 100%. And so for context, usually when I reach out to someone, if it's a cold connection, but it's someone I think that has been looking at my content, I'll probably get like a 40 or 50% response rate. If it's a warm introduction, it's much higher. It's probably around that 70 to 80%. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to use those warm connections to increase that success rate. So we'll just go across to my LinkedIn. I'll show you how I use filters to find those warm connections, and we'll run through that live. So now that we're on LinkedIn here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find someone that I want to connect with. So let's have a look at like Canaccord Genuity Australia. I don't have many connections at Canaccord in Perth because I'm located in Newcastle or Sydney based. And so a lot of my connections are on the east side of Australia. So let's try and connect with someone over in Perth. So first I've typed in Canaccord Genuity. I've gone people. So that gives me a list of people who either are currently working at Canaccord or have worked at Canaccord in the past. So as you see, there's a couple of people there that have worked there in the past that are no longer there. So you can see at Citi now, but previously was investment banking at Canaccord. So that's the first thing. Then I want to filter for location. So let's go Perth. Cool, it's already there. So here is a list of people just that are in Perth. I haven't filtered to how I'm connected with them. Up the top here, I can do first, second, or third. So first means that I'm already connected with them. Second means that I'm connected with someone who is connected with them. And third plus means it's a bit further removed. So I just want to go second. Ideally, if you're doing the outreach, you would try first to start with. So let's have a look at first. There shouldn't be many there, as I said. Yeah, I've got two, not many, right? So those two there, I want to expand my network, so I don't need to outreach to them. Maybe I want to send them some messages just to kind of build that rapport. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go through how I would connect with new people. So go second. As I'm scrolling through here, everyone here is connected with someone I know. Some of them have a number of connections, some of them quite a bit less. So let's say I wanted to reach out to Samuel. I can then right click on that, open it into a new tab. I want to keep this here because if Samuel's not the right person for me, I want to already have the filters here. So always open a new tab. So open that one up. We see we've got 54 mutual connections there. So I'm just going to open that one there. So you just click it, opens into a new tab, and I can see everyone that I'm connected with. So a couple of names here I know quite well. So Oliman, Tom, I know both of them quite well. I could go through a few. Senior manager at EY, I probably know him. Lewis, know him as well. So there's a few people there that I would send a message to. Probably would be one of these two here to start with just because they're first on the list. And so I would send them a message saying, hey, I want an introduction to Samuel for XYZ reason. So for this one here, I don't actually have a reason because I'm just showing you a video, but your reason might be that you're really interested in Canaccord, you live in Perth, you want to understand more about what their investment banking team does in Perth, what kind of deals they're looking at, all that sort of stuff. And so your message, you want to keep it concise, but you also want to give them some context of why they want the introduction. So I would message one or two of those people, see if they can introduce me. Hey, Tom, I want an introduction to Samuel. I want to understand more about Canaccord, their investment banking team. Thought it would be great to catch up with him over coffee. Is that someone you're able to introduce me to? And so just because they're connected on LinkedIn doesn't mean they can provide the introduction, doesn't mean that they've got that strong enough connection. Whatever the reason is, they might not be able to provide that introduction. So for example, like a lot of these people, I'm connected with them. I don't know them well enough to be able to provide an introduction to someone else. So you just want to check there before you do anything. You also want to get them an easy out where if they're not able to introduce you, then say, do you mind if I name drop you? And so that's kind of your fallback there. If they don't introduce you directly, your next step should be, hey, saw you're connected with Tom. I thought it'd be good to reach out and ask you, let's see if you were open to catching up over coffee, blah, 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 blah. And so the reason it's in that order is because if Tom was to reach out and he had a strong connection with Samuel, and I haven't checked with Tom or Samuel if they know each other, so this is just an example, but if he was to reach out, then that person is less likely to leave Tom on red. So they know each other. They're more likely to at least let him know that they're not open to a conversation or whatever it is, but it's less likely that you just get absolutely nothing back. The second thing, then, if you reach out, they don't owe you anything. They don't know you at all. And so you're borrowing a little bit of the trust by name dropping. But again, like, they don't owe you anything. And so there's a higher chance that they just either don't connect with you, they don't respond, whatever it is. So that's the order I like to go in for the warm connections. The next connection's then cold. And so as I said, like, they don't owe you anything, but then you also don't name drop anything. So there's no trust transfer there either. So there's just absolutely no reason for them to reach out. And that's why a lot of people get those rejections there or don't get any info back because they don't have any reason to build it. So the problem with doing this is that it's very difficult to keep on top of who you've reached out to and to track everything. So if I'm messaging Tom, asking for an introduction to Samuel, not only do I have to like follow up and keep on top of the conversation with Tom, but then I need to transfer that conversation into Samuel when the time is right. For one particular conversation, that's not too much to handle. It's pretty easy. But when you're starting to like really dive into this and trying to meet as many people as possible, that can be difficult to track. So what I use, I've actually got this third-party software called Condo. I'm going to blur a lot of this out, but opening that up, you can see on the left side there, I've got all the different kind of stages that I have people in. And so this is set up differently. It's set up for my program. I'm talking to people about, you know, how I can help and whether the program's the right fit for them. So I go through these different stages. The reasons why I had the stages there is I want to be able to see where someone is at and respond to them in the appropriate manner. So if I'm looking at this, like, I've got a few that are qualified, like I've deemed they're a good fit for my program. And so that's someone I want to, when I see that I've got a message from them, I want to respond as soon as possible because they're the right fit for the program. They're in the right time. I want to be able to help them when they're really active. The people that I've just met who are new leads, there's only a few of those. They're less important because they might not be looking to move into M&A. They might not be looking to have a program help them, whatever the reason is. And so it's not as important that I get back to them as quick as possible. So I've got the different buckets there so that I know who to respond to first. It also allows me to track things. So as someone moves through my process, they go through that pipeline and then I get to the end there and I either follow up with them in a couple of months' time or I know that they're not the right fit and we stop the conversation there and only chat when they need help. So they're the different buckets. Your buckets will be different. I've actually given you a document that shows what buckets you should be using. I really like this software. It's Condo. It's about $50 a month. So it's not like the cheapest software. For me, it's absolutely worth it. For you who's not doing that much outreach, it may not be worth it. It does come with I think it's a 1-month trial. I'll include a link in that. Feel free to use it or not. But the benefit I get from it is I'm going to jump into a conversation. Again, it's all going to be blurred. But if I jump into this, I've got my tags. When I hit enter, I've got some classic lines that I drop to a lot of people. So when they've got the same problem that 100 other people have, I've got those templated messages that will fire them off a free resource or something like that. And so you can do the same sort of thing when you're having a lot of those conversations with people and you're going through that same structure about wanting to catch up for coffee or wanting to understand more about their team or that sort of stuff. You'll have similar templated messages that you want to use, and that's a time saver. Obviously, if you're not doing as much, it doesn't matter as much if you save a little bit of time. The other thing I like is it's got reminders. So if I bring this up, I can then get it so if I send this person a message and I want to be reminded to send them a follow-up message in 3 days, I can hit that 3 days there and it will archive that conversation. So it disappears from my inbox in 3 days time, brings it back to the top, and I know to then send that next message. I can see that there and it prompts me. So that's really useful for me. So feel free to try this out if you wanted to. But what I wanted to do in this video is not have to make you pay for anything. So what I would do is I would just, if you want to do it for free, I would set up an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheets, whatever you use, and track your conversations that way. I've included as I said, I've included a Word doc that shows the different stages that I would take people through. Basically, what I want to go through, just having a look at my doc now, it's below if you can't see it there, or it's in the email. I'm not sure where I've included it at this point, but the different paths you want to take them through. So basically you want to go through, first you've got the stage of the people that you're outreaching for that warm introduction. So introduction requested and then introduced. So introduction requested, you've sent Tom, for example, a message saying, let's catch up, can you introduce me to so-and-so? You haven't heard back, you leave it in introduction requested. You then follow up a certain number of times depending on how connected you are with that person. And again, I'll include some information about that in the document. Once they've introduced you, put it into the introduced bucket, because then you know that conversation is good. You probably want to keep him in the loop or them in the loop as you have that meeting, so that they know that you've actually then taken the action to go through and meet the person that they've introduced you to. But you can basically leave that and park that there and then concentrate on the introduction that they've made. So then you want to, on the other side, you've got the introductions that they've made. You want to go through outreach sent. So you send the person a message saying, hey, so-and-so introduced me, or so-and-so recommended that I get in touch with you. I'm looking to do X, Y, Z. So that initial contact's made, you put them in the outreach sent bucket. Then once they respond, you put them into the engaged bucket. So that's when you know that you're having that conversation, you're talking back and forth in the engaged section. Then and again, like this is getting hotter and hotter. So when you are in the engaged section, they're having that conversation with you. You want to respond quickly when they do send you a message. You don't want to accidentally leave them on read for a couple of days there. And so that's why it's important that you move them through these different stages. Then you've got the meeting scheduled, self-explanatory, meeting completed, so it's happened, and then follow up pending or keep in touch. And so I'll explain what each of those mean in the document. I like to take it through those stages so you know what's important. I also like to have in the spreadsheet when the last contacted date was and when the next contacted date is. In the software that I use, which is Condo, I don't need to document all of that because I use those reminders. But if you're using the free software, then put those reminders in so that you know if you check that spreadsheet every day, you know to come back to whoever it is that has the next follow-up date as the same day that you're on. So that's the way I like to track it. Really simple there. I didn't want to overcomplicate this video at all. But if you're still finding that you're not able to line up any interviews or you're not able to form those connections, send me a message. I'm happy to have a conversation about it. But hopefully that was really helpful, and hopefully you know how to attack this with a system rather than just blindly sending out messages. So really hope that was useful for you.